So that put me down at a 1.2 GPA. Like some people, they flunk out of school and they flunk out for partying too much or having too much fun. Nothing about my first year of college was fun to me. I was stressed the whole time.
Now I like dollars, I like diamonds, I like stunning, I like shining, I like $1,000,000 deals. Where's my pen? I'm signing.
Hey, what's up? I'm Diamond. Welcome back to my channel, Diamond Star. Today I'm bringing you a video about something that I could have been a little bit more transparent about in the past, but I just really didn't know how to talk about it. So I'm ready to talk about it today. This channel is all about college application, just being better prepared for the college admissions process and also just college in general. And I wanted to kind of showcase my college experience, and I don't feel like that I have done that fully. So today I want to talk about my first year, my first semester in college, and how I almost flunked out of school. And just to put this in perspective for you, I graduated high school as valedictorian. I graduated with 2 college degrees, and also I graduated with honors from both, obviously my high school as valedictorian and from the college that I got my 2 Associates of Arts and Associates of Science degrees. So it really came as a surprise to me when I started struggling in college, and I didn't know how to deal with it. After my first semester of college, I had a 1.2 GPA. I received notification from my school that if I did not bring up my GPA within the next semester, that I would no longer be able to attend UNC anymore. And with that being said, they said I would have to go back to a community college and I would have to try to bring up my grades and reapply. Because I had already graduated from a community college, I felt there was nothing more that a community college was offering me. So at that point, I felt like there was nothing I would be able to do, and I would just either have to switch colleges or just have to find another career path that did not involve college altogether. Sorry if you hear background noise. That is my little brother and sister. They're playing their games. Everybody's home. There's no quiet place in the house, so I just gotta record. Just gotta record over them because I want to really get this video out. Starting back before I even graduated high school, I was able to balance schoolwork, I balanced extracurricular activities, leadership positions, everything so effortlessly. And when I got into college, I tried to juggle those same things, and I really dropped the ball on all of them. What I say had the most effect on me, that was causing me the most to slack on my work, I would say is my roommate situation. I did not have a great roommate experience. If you want to know more about my roommate experience, comment down below, or either when I post it should be somewhere up here if I decide to post it. And I really was in a bad spot because I've always shared a room. I shared a room with my sisters before I graduated and went off to college. So I was not new to sharing a room, but that was just a different experience for me, and it was just different living with different people or a different person, and it just was not what I was expecting, and it really took a toll on me mentally. I was not comfortable in my room. I did not have a place on campus where I was comfortable. And you know, if you don't feel safe and you don't feel at peace, you're not going to be able to focus. So that was one of the big things that I think kept me from focusing on my classwork. Other than my roommate experience, one of the main things that I lacked was a sleep schedule. If you go back into my other videos, you can see how I mentioned that I need at least 8 hours of sleep to be able to focus. I have tried this and I found that 8 hours is just the best for me. I tried to sleep like the college students on the movies, where they will be able to pull all-nighters, go to class, and still be okay. I learned very quickly that that lifestyle was not for me. I think I pulled 3 all-nighters the very first 3 days of classes my freshman year, and by the 4th day I was tired and I never caught up. I had a class where they would give me 50-some questions every other day. I had another class that required like a lit review every other day, and it would be like long 30-page papers, and I just did not know how to balance my work. And with my work being such an overload within the first 3 days of class or within the first few weeks of class, that I was not able to really focus or engage with extracurricular activities on campus. I tried, but it just did not work out for me. Beyond a sleep schedule, I didn't have a study schedule or any skills for studying or study skills. In high school, I never really had to study. All I had to do was go to the class. I have very good memory, so I just listen to what the teacher say, I take the test, and I aced it. That's how it's always been. I can still do that now if classes were like the classes in high school. When I did study, once again, I would just pull kind of like an all-nighter. Drink a energy drink with a few powdered donuts. I studied all that night, never studied another day of the week, nothing. Just studied the night for the test, ace the test, and be okay. College, that was not it. It was just too much material to go through in one night. Your teacher can talk about one thing and test you on a completely different subject, and you would not know what that subject was unless you actually read the book. And because I've never studied before, I didn't know how to study, and I just kind of lacked motivation to do it because I never had to do it before. So it kind of made me feel like that I was struggling, when really I was struggling, but I wasn't struggling because I didn't know. I was just struggling because I just never had to study before. Sometimes teachers already have like an idea of what they want to give you. Another thing I would like to say that I think really caused me to fail my first semester was my lack of class attendance. When you're in college, nobody tells you to go to class. Nobody tells you that you have to make sure, you be to class on time. None of that. And at a certain point, you automatically fail your classes. Now, I did have one class where I failed it anyways, but because of my attendance, I also failed a class, whether I had did good in the class or not. I mean that by saying, even if I was to get to class late, some classes, if you get to class late, your presence is not counted for that day. And after a certain amount of classes missed, you just automatically fail for the semester. That was kind of tied to my roommate experience. But like I said, I'll get into it in a whole nother video. But I did not go to class on time enough for me to be counted present. It took some maturing, because even when I was back home, my parents would wake me up for high school. Of course, I was an early riser. They would wake me up about 5 or 6. But still, university, it was my first time actually waking up with an alarm clock. Little things like that where I just had to find that I had to gain more maturity there. And if I have to be somewhere, I have to be somewhere. And if I gotta wake up as a grown person, I gotta wake up and I gotta go. I've already talked about the lack of sleep, lack of study skills. Let's talk about the lack of self-discipline. As I saw myself scrambling to keep up with my classes, and I really felt like that I was no longer keeping my head above water, I just lost the motivation to want to do anything. I would spend so much of my time watching YouTube videos, so much of my time on my phone, so much time sleep, because I just did not want to deal with and face the fact that I just didn't know what was going on in my classes. I did not ask for help. I didn't even really realize that I was struggling as bad as I was struggling. I was just kind of pushing off the inevitable. And it wasn't until maybe November of my first semester, because I started in August, so the end of this first semester was in November, that I realized that I was going to fail. I remember calling my mom, and I broke down to her, and I basically was telling her, I'm going to fail this entire semester. I'm going to have to come home, and I am embarrassed. That night, embarrassment hit me so bad. Just the thought of having to come home because of flunking out of college, I just couldn't imagine it. And then because I also left home on such a good note, like I said, top of my class, graduating with 2 degrees, for me to go to UNC and just struggle so bad and face the fact that I might have to come home, I went into like a depression. I think another thing that I also really messed with me was the fact that UNC was definitely not my top choice. And I felt that UNC was not up to the academic rigor that I felt like that I could do. So when I started struggling in my first semester, I was even more embarrassed that I was struggling at UNC. I felt more like I would struggle someplace at Harvard or someplace at Yale. But I never expected to struggle at UNC. Now I know that UNC is a good school and UNC has comparable academic rigor, but at the same time, I never looked at UNC as being like a difficult school before going to college. And I misjudged the school. The school is very academically rigorous. I really sold myself short when it comes to other areas of my life during my first year of school. And because I struggled so bad academically and I had such a bad roommate experience, I really lacked socially. Like some people, they flunk out of school and they flunk out for partying too much or having too much fun. Nothing about my first year of college was fun to me. I was stressed the whole time. I was going through depression because it was the first time in my life that I ever struggled like doing schoolwork. My parents saw me struggling. They saw how bad I was just going through, just trying to deal with everything, being in a new environment, being around new people, dealing with new classes, new teachers, new way of teaching, everything. And they basically told me to do my best and then rest. I did not want to let go. I didn't want to fully give up, even though literally everything was falling out of my control, out of my grasp. I started the semester with 6 classes. I ended the semester with 5. I don't know what happened to my 6th class. I think I just stopped going, but I couldn't tell you, even if somebody was to pay me $1 million, what that class was. I failed 3 out of the 5 classes that I was in. The 4th class I made a D, and I think my last class for like 1 credit I made an A. So that put me down at a 1.2 GPA. I got an email around Christmas break saying that I was on academic warning because they said the next step was academic probation. And when it comes to academic probation, they said that academic probation, you're no longer at the school anymore, you will have to reapply. So I had 1 semester to get my grades up. I found out on Christmas that I really failed everything. It was a little bit like a day before Christmas, I failed everything. I had to go over to family house and I'd be like, hey, how y'all doing? I just try to act like that nothing went wrong with me, but in actuality, I was struggling and I ain't want to tell nobody I was coming home, but I knew for a fact I was about to come home. Being on academic warning put me in a unique position where when I started back in January, I had motivation. I lost a lot of my motivation during my first semester, so going back in January gave me motivation, not so much because I wanted to do it, but I did not want to flunk out of school. And I literally had that one semester to get my act together. That January, I just ended up switching roommates. I did not want to switch rooms because I had like one of the best rooms on campus for freshmen. Long story short, I moved to another dorm on campus. So the first dorm that I stayed in, I did my room tour on. But that one where everybody said, oh, your room is so big, your room is so nice, that was the one that I went through the most stuff in. Then the second room was the Carmichael bare empty room, which, you know, if you want to see that, what that room looked like. In the videos, me moved out. That's where I was for my second room. I got to that room and it was 3 times as small as the room I moved out of. It made me so sad because I had such a great room, and then not only was I moving into a room that was a third of the size of the room I lived, I also had to share that space with somebody else. Thankfully, she had already had made plans to move, and she moved out of the room shortly after I got into the room because her roommate studied abroad. There was an opening at one of her friends had an opening in their home, so she moved in with them. And technically my room was a double, but I was moving by faith that nobody was going to move into that room. So I took down the other bed and I just kind of arranged the room to be a single room. But that changed my experience dramatically because I was in the middle of campus at this point. Instead of me being a 15-20 minute walk from classes, I was only a 10-minute walk from classes. I was like not even a 5-minute walk from the gym. I wasn't working on anybody else's time. I didn't have to worry about anybody else, disturbing anybody else in my daily routine. I was able to get up when I wanted to. I was able to go to sleep when I wanted to. So that's when I started really taking my health seriously, and I started taking self-care seriously. Really the only thing I ate my first semester was chips. I would eat a bag of chips at night before I go to sleep. And that was it. I didn't go to the dining hall really to eat any food. I didn't really eat anything, and I feel like that also played a role in my health. But in my second semester, I try to make sure that I ate balanced meals. I try to make sure I got at least 8 hours of sleep. I try to make sure that I went to the gym every single day. I try to make sure my nutrition was on point, my physical health was on point, my mental health was on point, and also I developed study skills. I started planning out my time, and I used to block out times for everything. I used to block out time to go use the bathroom, block out time to eat, block out time to study, block out time to sleep. I blocked out times for everything, and I put myself on a schedule that became like a daily schedule, and I studied so much that semester. I have to say that even now going into my senior year, that was my best semester in college. My best semester in college, because I was the most determined. If I would have came into college like I was my second semester, I would be in a whole different spot right now than where I am. Not saying I'm in a bad spot, but I would be in a very much a different place than where I am right now had I came into college with that type of mentality. I went from making straight F's and D's like my first semester to basically making a 4.0 my second semester. And that 4.0 only brought me up to like a I want to say like a 2.1 or something like that. So that means I was right on the verge of academic probation. But the good news is I was on academic warning before I go on academic probation instead of just going straight academic probation. Even though that my GPA was above the rate, you know, the average that was supposed to be for me to continue to be a student, but I was still nervous that my GPA was going to drop. And it didn't, and so that kind of scared me. It kind of stressed me out again. I kind of didn't want to do nothing, kind of lost motivation because I didn't want to try and fail. So I had to fight that my sophomore year. I had to fight that my entire sophomore year. Just the thought of me having to go back on academic probation and having to face the fact that I might have, and like having to face the idea that I might fail out of school. Honestly, because I went through that situation my first semester, I feel like it really set me up to be a better student because now I know how to study, now I know how to balance my time, now I know the importance of self-care. You just can't put all of your time into work, you just can't put all of your time into other things outside of work. I tried to start balancing a little bit more, realized that maybe, okay, I'm moving a little bit too fast, and so I started dropping some more things. But before I knew it, my junior year, I was like a manager at one of my jobs. I had three jobs my junior year. Basically, my junior year, I kind of had my academics on lock. At that point, I was trying to pick up extracurricular activities. I didn't know what I wanted to do after school, so I really didn't have like a plan for my extracurricular activities. I did do a few things my junior year, and I stuck with them. But that was basically me trying to balance extracurricular activities, kind of load my plate again to see if I can handle all the extra. Now, I am at the end of my junior year because I went to study abroad last year, last semester. So I just got back from study abroad, doing the whole thing that shall not be mentioned. I've currently decided that I want to try to attend law school. So I'm in the process of studying for the LSAT. So cross your fingers, wish me luck that I do amazing on the LSAT and that I score really, really high. Because I do think now, because of my GPA, because my GPA now is a lot closer to a 4.0 than what it was. And of course it won't be a 4.0, but that's whatever. I don't really care. I still have a really good chance of getting into the school I want to get into. I just gotta do well on the LSAT. So that's where I am now. This was a sensitive topic for me, but I just had to let it go and watch it flow because it actually worked out for my good, and I want to thank God. It's only Him that got me through. And hopefully I'm able to keep you all updated on my college application journey for law school because I'm applying to schools all over again. Can't believe it's my senior year and it's time for this all over again. I kind of waited late to decide I want to go to law school, but it's whatever because I feel like I can do whatever I set my mind to, and no matter what I decide to do after I graduate, I'm going to be successful regardless. I'll hopefully be able to keep y'all updated on my college application journey once again for law school. That's really all I have for this video. I hope it was coherent. I hope it was clear. If you want me to make a video about my roommate experience, let me know down below. Cops were involved. Everything was bad. So if you liked the video, make sure that you hit the like button. Also comment down below any video suggestions that you may have and hit the subscribe button so you know when I upload any new videos and you don't miss any more videos by hitting the notification bell. Just know that I post videos all about the college application process, my time in college, obstacle challenges, like I said, transparent videos like this, advice videos, and so much more. For now, I'm Diamond Star, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.